So hi everyone, welcome to round 5 of the Help Asian Challenge 2023. The motion, this house supports the inclusion of feminist narratives in the advertisements of fashion and beauty products, like I'm Worth It by L'Oreal, Beauty Has No Limits by NARS Cosmetics, and Love Your Curves by Zara Fashion. I call this house to order and yield the floor to the Prime Minister. Here.
Okay, hello, am I audible?
Yep, you're audible. I'll encourage you to turn on your
Okay.
camera.
Wait, so you're saying I should turn on my camera?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Am I visible? I
Yep.
cannot see myself.
We can see you, so that's fine.
Okay. Yourself. Okay, I can see myself. Okay. Um, no preferred gender pronouns. I'll try to take a POI around the 5-minute mark, but I will ask, please put them in chat. I'll be starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. If you're a woman and you want to be a housewife, the dominant narrative is either you shouldn't be because that is bad for feminism. We say that what we support actively takes back women's power and femininity in a way that opposition could never achieve. 2 substantives that I'll be forwarding within my speech. Firstly, on why we're better able to attain empowerment, and secondly, how this promotes healthy competition within companies and on the commercial level, and the discouragement of toxic beauty standards, and why it promotes healthier inclusion of races, plus sizes, because they want to actively adhere to the feminism in status quo. That will further be analyzed within my second speaker speech. But firstly, a few pieces of setup. Firstly, within the status quo, people have built a prejudice towards traditionally feminine things because of the long existing patriarchy that has constantly marketed these products in industries as primarily women or girly. And because in the past, it's no secret that women were heavily discriminated against, and it is still prevalent within status quo because of misogyny and most prominently internal sexism still exists within status quo. Things like the not like the other girls narrative or the gaslight gatekeep girl boss all lay under the undertones of toxic femininity. This is the most important framing because it is still the most important issue that feminist movements face. It's the lack of acceptance of femininity as an okay thing within things like the job market or being competitive or even in media where the constant narrative is that you should be an independent woman to be able to even like be okay within the feminist movement. Furthermore, modern day feminism deviates from their roots of now perpetuating the narrative that you have to be strong, independent, and to be good for the movement, which we say is not the core of feminism. And feminism should be about allowing women to do what they want and saying that it's okay to be girly. And our side exclusively does this better. And this debate shouldn't be in the extremes of places like Afghanistan because these ads wouldn't exist there in the first place, which is precisely why they cannot debate on the grounds of being in places like being in super conservative places. Well, what do we support? 3 things. 1, we support the inclusion of feminist narratives, things like encouragement of women to be able to use these products and promote acceptance of traditionally feminine things. This looks like companies using more core feminism ideologies in their messaging that actually encourages women. For example, things like I'm Worth It by L'Oreal and the other examples used within the motion. Secondly, it is important to note that these narratives' main goal is not to curb the beauty standards or setting an unrealistic standard. We say that there are checks and balances like your family members, like your friends, like social media that remind women that you don't have to necessarily conform to that ideology and toxic beauty standard. And even if they exist, it is still likely that they exist symmetrically on both sides. Therefore, they cannot argue on toxic beauty standards. And to preempt arguments like men will be further excluded, we say that it is likely that men that want to go into these industries are still likely to do so anyways, because the trend is already not supportive of men being in these industries. And we say that these narratives can still encourage men because slogans like I'm worth it also can remind people in general that they are worth it. And furthermore, feminism would still include things like encouraging healthy men and healthy who shows their feminine side and still be encouraged and even promoted because they are the minority within those industries. Therefore, industries and companies themselves have an incentive to actively want to encourage them further. The main substantive that I'll be forwarding within my speech for about empowerment. How does this occur? You're able to empower the women by letting them know, especially within the context, within industries, that it is okay to be in these industries. It is okay to display your talents within these industries. If they see that these advertisements are directly catering towards the majority of people that already use them, in this case, women, they would likely feel the sense of belonging and understand that being a feminine girl is okay, which media and modern day feminism doesn't encourage, which ties back into our setup. And on the comparative side, this would be the tipping point for women that don't know their identity and are feminine but are discouraged too. This would let them see that it is okay to be themselves, and will likely feel like more encouragement within these ads from industries that they've been pushed away and pushed against from doing. And how this secondly ties into back to how this actively helps with self-love. But before that, any POIs? 3, 2, 1. How this ties into self-love, the unique type of empowerment that comes from the literal products you wear. It directly impacts your daily life and your clothes, your skincare products, your beauty products that you see every day, etc. If you're a woman grown up within a misogynistic household, media that surrounds you, and a lack of support in your daily life, and people who spew toxic beauty standards towards you, a small message from a beauty product that you use every day could mean so much to these women. Because at the end of the day, if you are actively encouraging and putting ads like I'm worth it, and see them on these products, it ties into some sense of like, you use them every day, you feel seen by these companies, and you feel seen within these industries. Is that a POI? I'll be taking one.
Alright, so if I'm a girl boss who is still a girl and I see this advertisement that's promoting only girly women, then am I not worth it?
That POI is quite unreasonable, because at the end of the day, if you are an independent woman, and if you are someone that is like quote unquote a strong independent woman, you're not likely going to feel affected by these narratives in the first place, because you would actively understand that these are what feminism is about, because you understand the core values of feminism, and you know what it took for you to be able to go up the ranks of the social ladder in the first place. Therefore, you are likely going to be encouraging other women to do so. And even if you're not doing it in the sense that even if you're not doing so in the sense of like actively being misogynistic, we still say that is still a very much a minority of women that actually do like still have like internal and like are on top of the social ladder and have like actively discouraging these women. And what the core values of feminism is still about, encouraging women to still do whatever they want, which is still the likely narrative that these strong independent women would understand the most, because they have faced the problems that these individuals have. And moving on to my point, on the flip side of how for women who are discouraged by parts of the feminism movement that think pursuing beauty is adhering to the patriarchy. This actively allows them the validation in their pursuit of beauty, because if beauty really means so much to them, and there's an alternative to suddenly rid society of the emphasis on beauty, we might as well give them the validation from companies to the women so they can embrace their own pursuits of beauty, because it is so important to them in the first place, and which ties directly into their own self-actualization and their own understanding of themselves. And with that, I end my speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. I invite next speaker, Leader of the Opposition. Here.
Hello, am I audible and visible?
Yep, I can see and hear you.
Okay, thank you. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Leader of Opposition of this debate on the motion. This House support the inclusion of feminist narrative in our advertisement of fashion and beauty products. First of all, I would like to say that this inclusion of feminist narrative in the advertisement of fashion and beauty products is completely different from what feminism wants to say. So why is it so different from the core idea of feminism? So what is feminism? Feminism is core idea is to strive for gender equality and empowering all women to strive their own and then this feminism also insists that all women are beautiful regardless of their appearance. So today, the government side is supporting a case where the women are objectified and only appearance is emphasized. And government side don't care about the inner beauty of women, which is what the feminist narrative is proposing. So why are we saying that the women are being objectified in this narrative? So first of all, under status quo, we can see a lot of ads about this beauty products, and in those ads, those models are all beautiful and perfect. So today, if we add this feminist narrative in it, we are pushing the trends that all women should be beautiful and fashionable. We admit that there are difference of beauty in the women under status quo. However, we say that not all women beauties are on the outside. All the ads are generalizing all women should be fashionable and beautiful, just as what they see on advertisement. And we would like to insist that femininity can be expressed in other ways, not just of the outside beauty. However, in the government case, they are promoting this kind of feminist narrative, which are likely to promote this kind of objectification in the women. Besides that, this kind of narrative also promotes consumerism, and this consumerism is making those ads miserable. So today, using this feminism narrative in advertisement is like using a feminist issue to gain profit. So the government side think this is an appropriate thing to gain profit. This is a sensitive issue, and it's actually causing it's actually showing disrespect to the women. So the women will feel like the beauty is directly linked to this products, and they would like to chase this product, and they will be fit into this kind of consumerism, and they will feel like their current attractiveness level is different from what they should ideally be. And the ads are telling the women that to be fashionable, you have to buy their products and use their products. But in real world, the beauty can be expressed in various ways, not just their outside beauty. So today we are empowering the women to show their inner beauty. Okay, so to do a short summarization, the government side are objectifying the women and also objectifying beautiful, where the pursuit of each woman can be various. Like not all the women want to be beautiful, but under this narrative, they were likely to think that as a woman, I should be beautiful. And also, we'd like to say that beauty can be expressed in various ways, not just the outside beauty. And I would like to make a short clarification is that today we are not against people like making up and like to be beautiful, but and invest in themselves. But we are not like telling all of the women that women should be like this. This is just their choice, and we are not against it. Okay, so what we are trying to say here is that the government case is neither beneficial to the women, to the society, or the company. Because, okay, so why is it not beneficial to the company as well? Because if they are like using this kind of consumerism, this kind of advertisement to promote their products, it will actually make the women community feels like disrespected, and it's actually not beneficial to them because the women, this might actually create conflicts, like they might actually like don't feel comfortable about that. Like we have seen articles of people um, against this uh, inclusion of feminist narrative in advertisements, such as the advertisement of L'Oreal has actually been like against once. So okay, so before ending my speech, I would like to give the government side two burden of proof. How does your case promote inner beauty? And second is, how does your case not causing women further fit into your consumerism? Yes?
Earlier, you said that you're encouraging more toxic beauty standards. How is saying I'm worth it by L'Oreal suddenly promoting toxic beauty standards?
I will pass that POI to my second speaker. Okay, so to conclude our case today, why we are not supporting this inclusion is that first, it promotes objectification of women. Second, it also promotes consumerism and is making the ads miserable today. And lastly, it's not beneficial to the women, to the society, or to the company. And we urge the government side to answer our two burden of proof before this debate ends. And with that, I end my speech. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leader of Opposition. I invite the next speaker, Deputy Prime Minister. You're here.
Am I audible and visible?
Yep, you are.
All right, thank you. POI is verbally and my preferred gender pronouns are they, them. Okay. Okay. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Opposition is a side that does not give women another chance to be able to hear the words that they want to hear. They fail to provide the women a safe space from a constant thing that they see in their daily life that actually encourages them and validates them, right? A couple of recharacterizations or like clarifications, because I think the opposition completely does not understand how these things are going to work, right? When we tell you that you put feminist narratives, we likely turn the narrative, which is going from toxic beauty standards that already exist from beauty products. So things like, oh, you have to buy a product to look like this. You have to buy a product to look beautiful, right? Being beautiful is like the peak of everything, right? We turn it into things that make you more accepting, right? You look at even the examples themselves. It says like there is different types of beauty, right? That looks like the recent commercials that feature different types of women with ranging from like light and to dark skin, right? Women with freckles, women with different types of eyes, smaller eyes, which have never been featured before or in commercials, right? Because back then it's a fact that like industries did not have an incentive to actually cater to the more progressive women, to actually cater to all the different beauties, to all the different people, right? And actually only have a more European centric beauty standard, right? So going in two responses before I go into my substantives. One, they say that we are the side that is going to be more objectifying women even more. But we tell you, if they are going to be debating on the side where like women are going to be so where toxic beauty standards is going to be so bad, right? We don't see how it is only beauty products that is going to perpetuate that toxic beauty, right? Because if they debate in a world where toxic beauty standards is extremely prevalent, then it likely comes from things like your patriarchal society, right? That comes from things like your misogynistic families or your misogynistic friends, or even your social media that tells you that women are supposed to act and look a certain way, right? If the narrative does not exist because of the beauty products. Beauty products exist because of the narrative, right? Beauty products will always exist because this narrative does exist, right? So on their side, beauty products still exist and women are still going to buy these beauty products because of the narrative of toxic beauty standards that they want to talk about, right? So on their side, they don't make it better. The objectification already exists. We are the only side that makes it better, right? Secondly, about how you're going to increase consumerism on beauty products, right? We don't see how that is actually a bad thing, right? If companies get money, then yeah, sure. Because women are able to embrace their own beauty, and in the pursuit of beauty that is so important to them, they are able to pursue beauty in their own ways. If they want to actually buy makeup, if they want to look pretty, then let them, right? Secondly, I'll go into my substantives about how the commercialization of something like the feminist narrative is going to make it much better in the inclusion of different beauty standards, right? Because recognize the fact that when you have a company want to have a certain narrative, want to appeal to a certain narrative or a certain group of social movement, it's likely that they are going to be putting themselves in the scrutiny of that group, right? So this looks like pride capitalism, right? When companies try to adhere to the LGBT community and they try to do pride products, that puts them in the scrutiny of the LGBT people, right? So that means that is going to be check and balances from those feminists, from those group, right? This is the feminist movement seeing hey, you're using our slogans, you're telling us that all beauties can be beautiful, but the range of your products is actually this. The only models in your advertisements are white people, are light-skinned people, right? This is less likely that the companies are going. It's more likely that companies are going to try to be more inclusive, because now that they have this narrative put into their products, put into the products, that they actually have to try to cater to these communities to actually prevent backlash, right? And to actually prevent backlash, right? What does this look like? Is that now you have a market that is constantly trying to appeal to this more progressive consumers, right? You have and that recognize that in this case is the feminist community, right? The feminist community, which is extremely intersectional and has women of all different body types, who has women of all different facial features, who have women of all different races and different types of skin tones, right? What does it actually look looks like, right? This looks like when you have a company that starts to wants to appeal to the feminist like movement, actually try to like make like more different skin tones, right? Along with the advertisement, we see you, we see the type of beauty that you are, right? This type of like slogans, and they actually try to put out like, look, this was like cosmetic products, putting out different darker shades of foundation to actually be able to appeal to like the darker skinned women in the feminist movement, right? This looks like you have like a Zara saying, we see all your different curves, right? Whether you are slim or whether you are plus size, they are going to come up with even more different like sizes, even larger or slimmer sizes of like clothing to be able to like cater to all the different women in these like society. Like, how does this actually like give a tangible effect in the marketplace of beauty products, right? This looks like you have more and more competition within the market, right? Because recognize that if like one beauty company sees that another beauty company is bringing out different shades of foundation, darker shade of foundation, they're likely going to want to compete with that company and actually they themselves invent even more and more different shades of like darker, right? This leads to things like companies actually becoming more and more inclusive, right? Putting out products that are more and more inclusive, that adheres to all the different types of beauty that feminists like that women have, right? And this in turn is like the extreme impact that like the opposition cannot prove, because only on our side, when we have the companies that actively want to like cater to these women, are they and actually have like competition for all the different like all the different companies, does like more products and more beauty products and fashion products actually start to include different women, right? Actually are able to cater to all the different women of different skin tones and shades and different plus sizes, right? This in turn leads to like, obviously like in generally, women, it basically like destabilizes the existing narrative of like beauty looking a certain way, because now you have companies actively coming up with products that say that we see you, we see the beauty that you are, right? So the exclusivity of this is that on their side, beauty products will still exist, like they will still be used, because if they're going to talk about the narrative that like toxic beauty standards are so prevalent, then people will still use beauty products. It's just the fact that beauty companies do not have the incentive to actually like adhere to these like like groups of people, because they aren't using their slogans in the first place, right? They're not putting them in the active like scrutiny of like the feminist movement to say like, hey, you're using our slogan, we can criticize what you're doing, we can like boycott all your things, right? So it's only on our side where companies have the incentive to want to prevent backlash, to have actually like adhere to the and actually be more inclusive in all their products, right? Then we're proud to propose.
Thank you very much, Deputy Prime Minister. I invite the next speaker, Deputy Leader of the Opposition. Here.
Am I audible and visible?
Yep, you are.
All right, before I start, I just want to say that my pronouns are he, him, and, well, I don't have any preferred pronouns, but I prefer my POIs verbally, and I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. Now, first of all, to answer the POI given out by the government side, right? How is L'Oreal's I'm Worth It causing toxic mentality? So, as my first speaker has said, today the core value of feminism is to protect, is to empower all women. In the speech of the government first speaker, their mechanism gives the mechanism they gave says that they're only going to be portraying girly women in the ads, and then the mechanism is excluding like women that have like the girl boss attributes and other different types of women. They're only portraying girly women. How is that not giving a toxic mentality? And now you're saying that only these girly women that you're portraying are worth it. How is that not toxic? How is that not antithetical to the core value of the feminist narrative? Today, what the government side is pushing is they're pushing a case that is antithetical to the feminist narrative, yet they're glorifying it, they're like justifying it, saying that yes, this is feminism, when it in actuality it is not feminism. It is absolutely different from feminism, because they're only highlighting a part of women. Today they're only shallowly portraying women. They're only portraying girly women, and they say that, oh, we portray women of different races. Are there any case in government side for like deformed women? Are there any cases in government side for like women with different body types? Is there any such cases under the status quo? There are not such cases. What do you think that these women who are deformed or have different body types is going to think under the status quo? That they're going to, after seeing L'Oreal's ads, they're going to think, oh, I'm not portrayed unlike those other skinny women. I'm not portrayed. Therefore, unlike L'Oreal says about those skinny
POI.
women, I am not worth it. Today, what the government side is pushing this sort of narrative that is antithetical to the feminist narrative and is actually toxic, despite what they're saying. Your POI. 3, 2, 1.
The
No
entire
engagement.
point of my speech was to prove how commercialization and these industries actually trying to adhere to different beauty types exist on our side. How are you going to achieve that on your side?
So today, right, the feminist movement is already promoting all types of women and promoting the empowering of women. Today, what the government's case is doing is is starting coming out with something that is antithetical, as I've said, to the feminist narrative. You're actually a stopping power to the current empowerment, the current movement of the feminist narrative. So today, instead of helping the feminist narrative, you're pushing a false case of feminism, which I believe under the trend of society is actually not beneficial to the feminist movement today, which is why your case does not promote feminism, even though you think it does.
POI.
So please don't badger me 30 seconds per POI. So to move on to more rebuttals and to persuade as to why our case is better, right? So you've said about how checking products, how you've given the example of LGBTQ products and how companies have incentives to check these products. Now I don't think you understand the difference between beauty and fashion products, especially beauty and fashion products that's under the feminist narrative, and LGBTQ products, right? So we're, as humans, we're like social animals, and we really care about how people look at us. So beauty is a very important thing to us, and that's where the difference with LGBTQ products comes in. Do you see any LGBTQ fashion and beauty products? Unless you can give me specific cases, I will not take that. So the difference is, one, for the LGBTQ products, you're just promoting the spirit of the LGBTQ movement, whereas the beauty and fashion products under the feminist narrative today directly affects how women see themselves, because it's diverse and it's impactful, because, as I've said, beauty is important for not only men, women, LGBT, is important for all of us. So that is why that point of them that rebuttal of them does not stand and does not actually exist in real life scenarios. So today they're generalizing women, right? As my first speaker has said, today you're just generalizing women because, as per your mechanism, you're only talking about girly women. My mom likes to wear jeans. She likes to keep her hair short. So what happens to my mom when she sees those ads? She's going to think, oh wow, all these women are like that. Should I change my own style? This is definitely not healthy to the women in our current society, where they are encouraged to have diverse looks, to show their own personality. Today, instead of accusing our side of the case to have a toxic mentality, maybe look at your own case, where there are a lot of leaks, where a lot of women is actually where a lot of types of women are actually being ignored, and you're just stereotyping women as being girly, because, as your mechanism has said, you're only going to be portraying girly women, and I think that is absolutely unhealthy. So let's make a comparison between beauty in government side and beauty in opposition side. So the government side is just portraying beauty on the surface, even if the goal isn't consumerism and capitalism, as my first speaker has touched on consumerism, right? Because these are beauty and fashion companies. The primary incentive of a company is to make money, right? Even if the original goal isn't consumerism, which it probably is, because once again, it's a company and the main goal is profit, it is still subconsciously feeding an impression to the public, not only women, but even the misogynist or the man or whatever, just the whole society you're talking about. It subconsciously feeds this impression to the public that women should be whatever is in these ads. It tells women to be whatever is in these ads, even if subconsciously. Why the opposition is denying your case today. What we want to portray women as per the feminist narrative, is we want to emphasize inner beauty. We want to emphasize that every type of woman is actually beautiful, and that is what the feminist movement is doing right now, is the feminist movement is doing that under the status quo. Your fashion like statement should not be trying to halt the feminist, or should not be trying to like meddle in the feminist movement today. So today we're emphasizing inner beauty. So so how the so to return so okay to summarize, right, I believe that the government case has given like a very not accounted for case, and they still haven't answered up to burden of proofs. So I believe that with those reasons I am proud to oppose. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Diallo. Let's move to the next speaker, Government Whip. Here.
Am I audible and visible?
Could you say something again?
Hello, am I audible and visible?
Yep, now you are.
Okay. PI verbally, starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Female beauty standard has been too toxic for far too long across patriarchal society, and with social media and whatnot, and too many females being oppressed by it. Who better empowers the female, which is government side? And this is how I win this debate. Reason why opposition rules is so simple. They keep coming up with the most random case and simply accusing things we never bring up. Never once having a counterfactual to how they fix the problem we try to propose, and they cannot win on a negative case. Several responses towards the opposition side. Okay, they talk about how, female. Okay, I'll talk about how females are so models are so perfect, etc. This is what exactly happening on opposition side, because inclusion is not happening, and female movement, this kind of narrative is not infused to female, and this kind of gender equality and beauty, diversity of beauty cannot be pursued on their side of the house. And they also talked about how what appearance anxiety and female being objectified. It's not even relevant because it's only about fashion products, beauty products, skincare, this kind of the most normal daily things, and a degree of demands that certain people do require. They talk about inner beauty. What kind of inner beauty you mean? If you mean by good personality and whatnot, then it's simply not today's debate, or it's just a wrong wording. And if you mean by female no longer feeling anxious about appearance, it's our side then, because your house never bring out any proposal on how your side will be have a more diversified world, because how you keep telling us what inner beauty, consumerism. What's your framing? What's your characterization? There's nothing from your side of the house. Now, moving on, they told us about how we only portray what girly girls. We never consider the fact that we only portray girly this kind of feminine women. We think that showing all women can be beautiful also includes women who choose not to and choose to pursue beauty through beauty products. And also just literally look at the motion slides already tells you how I'm worth it, beauty has no limits, and love your curves. Imagine you scroll your social media and see this kind of more positive slogans among all the very toxic beauty standards. This is something healthy and something good that pushes more like those kind of other industries, like how my second speaker already bring up the other industries to push on more healthier competition and healthier healthier cycle of beauty standard. Now moving on, they told us about how it's antithetical towards female narrative. Like what on earth? What are you on? We're literally taking female narrative, like this kind of feminist narrative into this kind of beauty products because it's been too toxic across this long. So we are literally taking their narrative into beauty products. So, and also they talk about LGBT products and having spread of LGBT products. It's exactly the point of having this kind of products. It is to empower female and what LGBT group as a whole. Yeah, now accepted. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Okay. They talk about how what girl boss, whatever. We include all the also like how the emotions the side already tells you like how I'm worth it, this kind of positive slogan. It includes all female as a whole. It's just simple as that. We are not pushing all we are not like pushing all this more non-feminine women away, but we are including all female as a whole to empower, and so that we accept all the different kind of beauty, we accept this different kind of curves or that whatnot. It's more better on our side because we pushes for diversity, whereas on your side of the house, no changes has ever happened on your side. Now moving on, the first clashes is on the toxic beauty standard. What they bring up is that about how if you see this advertisement. Okay.
Do you think the slogans are part of the advertisements, or do you think they're actual statements made by feminists?
It is from the feminist group. Then they put it into the and put it on the advertisement. It's that simple. It's not that hard to comprehend. Okay, now moving on. They talk about how we first clash about toxic beauty standards, and what they told us is that if you see this kind of advertisement like I'm worth it, and suddenly we'll be promoting so promoting beauty standard, but then suddenly comes up with objectification. The strategic mistake in their substantive is that it's extremely dangerous to their case because on how on earth is seeing I'm worth suddenly going to promote this kind of toxic beauty standards in the first place. There's no logical link that actually makes their substantive sense. And what we tell you is that it's more likely to empower them because of several reasons. We're seeing that encouragement from the products that you use every day. There's a different level of empowerment because it is direct validation. Even if this is something very artificial or very commercial, we say that it's okay because as long as you are better able to self-actualize, it doesn't matter. And why we still win on this clash on few reasons. We are still better allowed. You are still better able to allow women to self-actualize. You actually reduce the dominant narrative that was already set up to you since first. That that people are internally misogynistic towards the idea of being feminine in the first place, which brings to better empowerment. Okay, now to answer that question on what inner beauty and consumerism, we already proved to you how inner beauty is so much better on our side from 3 hour speaker. And second of all, they talk about consumerism. What is consumerism? But it doesn't matter because as long as this kind of you have this kind of advertisement, it better perpetuates a more positive impact to the female group as a whole, and not letting people to feel like, oh, I'm worth it, and this sort of thing, because these are the most direct things that appears in your daily life. It's the most easiest way and more faster way to promote in our daily life. Now, the second clash is that who gets better inclusion. What they say is that we exclude people that are non-feminine, but we say that but we already tell you, but slogans like I'm worth it and what better what clothes, etc. We better include people as a whole and more diversity, whereas anything on their side just doesn't stand. And if yeah, so to sum up, we brought two arguments today. We talk about how it better empower female group as a whole, and second of all, this kind of healthy industrial competition because the industry have the incentive to push for social movements, and when they compete among different markets, having more different shades and sizes so that it better perpetuates this kind of toxic beauty status in a more better way and more faster way because it directly attack this kind of toxic beauty standards from the industry level. So, and it's kind of end my speech and propose.
Okay, thank you very much, Golf Whip. Sorry, just give me a minute. I need to go deal with an issue in another room. Thanks, Golf Whip. Let's move on to the opposition whip. Here.
Okay. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. So before I start my speech, I would like my POIs verbally, and I would like my preferred pronouns are she, her. And with that, I, as opposition whip, will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So first of all, right, we are not trying to demonize the girls that are wearing makeup. We are not trying to demonize the girls that love fashion. But we are saying that these empowering messages and these feminist messages should not fashion industry should not be the ones to portray these messages, especially because there are so many feminist problems rooted in this fashion industry right now. So first of all, we want to acknowledge that we, as the feminist side, we want to include all types of women. We want to include, no matter how much the industry tries, the industry can never portray all portray all women, and all women cannot be winning all at the same time. So let's say you're portraying the plus size woman, right? And then the skinny woman will feel like, why are you not portraying me? The skinny woman is portrayed, and the plus size person will feel like you're not portraying me. So the fashion industry has so many problems, and the women, and no matter because of the fashion industry, women cannot feel like they're all winning at once. They can never feel like they're all completely empowered. So moving on to how the feminist problems are rooted in the fashion industry. So let's go on. Okay, so jumping off of beauty products, let's go into fashion, right? So we have not fully covered the fashion part in this motion. So fashion, right? What is a trending part of fashion in today? It is fast fashion, right? So this fast fashion company, let's say the fast fashion company in the surface, it is promoting, we love all sizes. We are promoting so many sizes. All plus size women, all women can come here and get your clothes, right? But behind closed doors, below the surface, fast fashion is famous and has a reputation. And almost all fashion companies exploit women and exploit these underprivileged women and pay them less and are exploiting their time and exploiting the workers. So with this problem, with so many problems in the fashion and beauty industry that are against feminism itself, how is it justified that in the surface, for the profit, for the consumerism reasons, they can use this slogan, but in the background, they are actually not fully feminist. This is just a slogan. This is again just a slogan that is trying to go feminist, is trying to, and on the surface it is trying to say that, oh, we are feminists and you can feel safe with us, we can include all of you guys. But in reality, there is a lot of problems in this fashion industry that goes against feminism because because fashion industry, it is a main problem in feminism, right? We are not trying to say that you cannot do makeup, but but let's say, as I have said before, if they are trying to include this side of the women, the other side of the women will not feel included. So let's go on to how we are saying that this is just plainly consumerism, and there is actually no further narrative in how this feminist narratives in these products can include can lead to the fashion industry become more inclusive, right? Because the government side is trying to feed us an ideal world where the fashion industry will magically become more inclusive, because right now there are slogans that are said that are inside the feminist narratives. But let us tell you that right now in the real world, there are already lots of feminist narratives, and there are already a lot of brands, very successful brands, that are trying to that are already having an inclusive line. But still, there is a big shortage in inclusive foundations, inclusive concealers, and there is a big problem in inclusivity for the big problem still remains for the inclusivity of dark-skinned women, for the inclusivity of these darker shade foundations that the darker skinned women still need to use. So you guys are saying that with these we can magically have this and this and this, but in real life right now, they are already trying this and they are failing because why? Because it does not work in the ideal of the government side right now. So even after all these feminist narratives, which again are quite toxic, because it can never fully include everyone. No one can fully win at all the time, and also we cannot magically promote inclusivity just by putting feminist slogans. All right, so you guys are also saying that if we put feminist slogans onto these makeup products, then every day when we use it, these women will feel empowered, these women will feel encouraged. Well, encouragement can come from a lot of places, right? Encouragement cannot they can encouragement is not just from these makeup products that you see every day. And also, you guys are saying that even we are trying to, our main goal here is to try to empower all types of females, all types of femininity. And you guys have asked us for examples of how we promote feminism without having these from having these very surface slogans on fashion products. All right, so let's give an acknowledgement to ads in Thailand, which are trying to empower all types of femininity. They are trying to show a lot of all types of women being teachers and can empower themselves in workplace. And this is actually the main narrative of feminism. Feminism is not about it's not going to, with the toxic mindset that the fashion industry is trying to promote feminism. They are also trying to objectify women and water them down into like eyes, your pretty nose, and you are worth it, so buy this shampoo. How does the government again and again fail to see the problem in this situation right now? So let's do a little comparison of our cases, right? As a summary, the government side is pushing an ideal world, and as in a saying with these feminist slogans, we can magically be more inclusive. We can magically solve these feminism problems, these empowerment issues, just by reading these blank slogans. But as the opposition side, we believe that because of the deep feminist problems that are rooted in the fashion industry, we believe it is not the fashion industry's place to say that, oh, you are worth it, we love your clothes, so buy this, buy that, because that just feeds into consumerism, and that is against the feminist narrative. So we believe, with all these reasons, that the opposition side has won the case, and with all these reasons, I'm so proud to oppose. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Opposition Whip. Now invite the opposition reply. Here.
Am I audible and visible?
Yep, you are.
Okay. Wait, let me set my timer. Okay, greeting ladies and gentlemen, this is the reply speaker of the opposition team. So today, we are not living in a utopia, and the government's characterization are too ideal. There's a lot of issue, as my third speaker has mentioned, in the beauty industry itself, such as there's no enough inclusion of all women. So the government side are like thinking all the issues can be solved just by adding this inclusion of feminism narrative in the advertisement. However, it's not the case, and as the opposition side, we have shown you why is this so problematic to say so. So we have mentioned to you about the objectification of the women. So like by doing those ads, we are like generalizing all women, and it is actually not fair for way to do so. And also we have mentioned the consumerism, which this kind of ads are actually promoting this consumerism and make all women think that the beauty is equal to those products, and in order to be beautiful you need to buy those products, which is not fair also. And also the government are just supporting a case like where all women should be objectified, and all women is just keep trapped in this hole of consumerism. So, and as we mentioned before, what is this feminism truly proposing is that all women should be empowered, and all women are beautiful, no matter, regardless of what they look like. So in our case, we think that our case suits the ultimate aim of the feminism better, because we are not promoting any of this thing. And also okay, so as opposition has emphasized today, the feminism is to strive for equality of genders and empower all women. So panelists and opponents, what is happening right now is that government's case is fitting into the narrative that corporations are fitting us, which is and also causing consumerism. And they think that these slogans and those beautiful ads is going to help women. However, we have shown you why is it not true and why is it so problematic. So in their mechanism, they have neglected that many women are girls. They say that they're only discussing about those girls who are girly, and then they're also like different body types there. So the government side are not considering all those cases, whereas in the opposition side, we are considering all those cases, and we are telling you that this kind of inclusion of feminism narrative shouldn't be supported, because they have brought you issues like objectification of women and consumerism. Okay, so, and then today, the government side also haven't answered our burden of proof, which is how does your case promote inner beauty, and how does your case not causing women further fit into our consumerism. So we can see that they're actually not able to solve this issue about, so their case is not able to promote inner beauty, and their case also further cause women to fit into consumerism. And then with that, our side, we think that our side's case is more beneficial to all the women, to the society, and also to the companies. So with that, we proudly oppose. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll reply. To end this debate as a whole, I invite the Gov reply. Here.
Okay, I'm gonna assume I'm audible. Okay, cool. Okay. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Firstly, just to get through with the new framing that they had brought up in opposition whip. One, they talked about how like there are extremely a lot of problems like rooted in the beauty products themselves, like in the beauty product industry, right? Okay, to be charitable, and I'm just gonna respond to this, right? They never prove why they are like, because recognize if beauty products and beauty companies are going to be bad actors, right? It's symmetrical on both sides, right? They never prove why is it actually going to get better on their side, right? Why are they actually going to get more inclusivity in these products, right? We are the only side that's proven to do that. Secondly, they talked about how like the ads that they want is actually just to empower women, like being teachers, etc., right? We don't see how that, again, symmetrical, right? We don't see how that cannot exist on our side, right? You're going to have your beauty products promote these slogans, and then next you're gonna get an ad about why being a teacher for as a woman is going to be okay, right? Okay. After that, 8 reasons why the opposition has lost this debate, right? Number one, there's a clear lack of counterfactual as to how they actually want to solve all these issues that they brought up, right? They talked about how like, oh, they want to promote inner beauty, right? But they never probably told you, okay, any sufficient analysis to prove like, why is it just because you don't have like a beauty products having these slogans, are you suddenly going to promote inner beauty, right? I think that their response to this is to say like, oh, the feminist movement is already like pushing this, right? Again, that's symmetrical on our side, right? Feminism can push it as well, but we also have the addition of like beauty product industries actually putting the slogan as well, right? We don't see how that's something exclusive to that side. So thirdly, about how they like they have absolutely no positive substances, right? Panel recognize the fact that all 3 speakers have just been responses to ours, right? Have just been responses to our case, right? We think that even if you do not buy, like you barely buy some of the things from our side, right? Our case is still going to be marginally better than their side, and so long as they have given absolutely no like solution or any benefits on their side to actually prove why that case is better than ours, right? As long as we have a sufficient proposal to say that why is there a problem and why do we actually do like have give solvency to it, we are able to win this debate, right? Fourthly, about how it's extremely all their harms are extremely symmetrical, right? They talked about how like there is going to be more objectification of women on our side and how like women are going to push into these beauty standards, right? We already given to you that is symmetrical on both sides, right? On their side, they are also going to have some type of toxic narrative telling women that they have to be like extremely like that they have to like look a certain way, or they have to like look actually pretty all the time, right? So they also have given no like solution how they're actually going to like solve this on their side, right? Fifth, about how they actually skewed our case on how that they said that we only talk about how like women, we're gonna only include like feminine women, right? Firstly, even from our first speaker setup, we have already told you the dominant narrative right now in modern feminism is that feminine things are going to be demonized, right? To be a girl boss, to be a woman who is successful in the industry, you're going to have to be someone who is masculine, right? We are simply taking back being feminine and saying that you can be a girl boss even while being feminine, right? Even while like wearing beauty products, right? And we think that like even if you do not want to wear beauty products, you're not suddenly going to like want to cater to the beauty like industry just because you see a slogan, right? If you're that a slogan that doesn't even explicitly say, oh, you need to be beautiful to be like it. The slogan is actually we accept all women. It's something that is inclusive, right? Not something that demonizes the other side. And finally, about what we have actually given, right? One, about like how we empower women, girly women, right? Women to be feminine, right? We think that this includes people who are girl bosses, people who are accessible in the industry, right? Because you can be pretty, you can wear makeup, you can use beauty products, even if you are a strong, independent woman, right? I don't see why a teacher can suddenly not like suddenly does not need to wear like beauty products. Right? That is a demonization that comes from opposition side, because they're the side that wants women to not wear makeup. They're the side that says that femininity is something that's not that is not like accepted, right? Only on our side do we actually help women like to accept the fact that you can be beautiful, you can be independent at the same time, right? And then secondly, about they talked about how like there is like this from Web, but fine, about how like they're going to be bad actors. Right? We also have given you how change is more likely on our side as long as you cater to the market, as long as the market wants to cater to you, right? Propose.
Thank you very much, government reply, and thanks everyone for the debate. So I think we can end it here.